It's not a good idea to go to Hebrews to try and prove whether a person is eternally secure or not. The folks that use these passages out of Hebrews to prove that our salvation isn't secure are misapplying the scripture. Hebrews chapter 4 especially is what I'm thinking about. There we are told that the people of God that were brought out of Egypt under the blood, uh, belonging to him, saved, yet did not enter into the rest that was promised them. And that rest was not heaven. That rest was entrance into the promised land. And only two people originally out of Egypt by Moses, the leader, entered into that rest. Moses himself did not enter that rest. And the reason was because of sin or unbelief. So when we're looking at Hebrews chapter 4, we need to be careful to apply that to the walk of the believer and not to our salvation. There are things about the walk of the believer that can be lost. There are things concerning the walk of uh, the believer's inheritance, that can be lost. And there are things in relationship to what happened to these folks in Egypt after coming out of Egypt that we need to apply to our walk and not to our salvation. The Hebrews chapter 4 talks about that rest that is labored for. Well, we don't labor for salvation. Salvation is by grace, it's a gift. But the rest that we labor for is something that is earned. And that has nothing to do with going to heaven. That is something that the believer can qualify for by being faithful to the Lord, by being obedient to the Lord. You cannot take those verses and apply them to a doctrine on salvation because it's for the people of God, about the people of God, and what happened to them if they were disobedient in their walk before the Lord. That's how we apply Hebrews chapter 4 and the rest that is to be labored for.